Welcome to Sara Yoga Prenatal and this yoga sequence which is perfect for daily practice during pregnancy. Begin on your mat in a cross-legged position. Move the flesh of your buttocks out the way so you can feel your sit bones firmly in contact with the surface underneath you. It's good to have your knees roughly level with your hips, and if you do find your knees are a lot higher than your hips, or you're rounding your spine or your back feels strained in a cross-legged position, sit up on a firm cushion or a yoga block, thick book, something that will give you a lift through your pelvis to bring the knees more level with the hips and allow you to sit up straighter with a more neutral pelvis, centered on those sit bones rather than tipping backwards on them. If you can center on the sit bones, then you'll be able to lengthen all the way up the back of the body a bit more. Have your hands on your knees or thighs, palms down for a more grounded feeling, palms up for a more expanded feeling. And just allow your awareness to scan over your body, noticing how you're feeling. Notice physical sensations in your body. If there are any areas of tension, that's okay. Just observe them. Acknowledge them for now. Notice your state of mind, any thoughts that might be present or emotions. And just visualize that any thoughts just float out of your mind one by one to dissolve peacefully and allow you to come to your breath. Your awareness focused with your breath, observing the breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Notice that the breath is like a circle repeating over and over again. Inhalation followed by exhalation, followed by inhalation, a repeating circle. And as your awareness of the breath begins to heighten, notice that after every inhalation there's a naturally occurring pause, and the exhalation organically begins. And after the exhalation, there is a pause. And the inhalation organically begins. Allow these pauses to have importance in the circle of breath. So the circle is like a 4-part circle. Inhalation, natural pause, not holding the breath in any way, but just observing the natural lull in the circle of breath. Exhaling, natural pause, natural lull. Continuing to observe your breath. And as you sit here observing your breath, bring into your mind a positive resolve. A daily resolve, and this could be the same as yesterday's or when you last practiced this class, or maybe a new one for today. A positive statement, something that you would like to become true, said as if it is already true. All positive language, already true. And just saying your resolve silently to yourself 3 times. And allow this resolve to stay with you throughout your yoga practice today. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale them down your back. Continue with your breath. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up to the ears. And exhale them down. One more time, really noticing how it feels to draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Lots of space between ears and shoulders. And keep the shoulders down as you float your chin down to your chest on your exhale. Inhale, looking up and over one shoulder. And exhale, chin towards your chest. Continue with your breath, noticing the stretches you feel around the area of your neck. You might even bring your fingertips down by your sides for a deeper stretch. Keep thinking of drawing your shoulder blades back and down. Making this the last round, one more, looking up and over the shoulder each side. Drop your chin to your chest and bring your head back to center, head, neck and spine all aligned. Inhale, reaching one arm up and exhaling over into a side lean. Inhale, cartwheeling the arms up and exhaling over into a side lean on the other side. Continue with your breath, inhaling up and exhaling over. Stay firmly grounded through your sit bones into the earth. Continue with your breath. Bring palms to touch in front of your heart, low down so you have a right angle bend at your wrist, pressing the heels of your hands together to get a wrist stretch. Inhaling, feeling strength in your back. And exhale, release your shoulders away from your ears. On your next inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale as you twist from the base of the spine, looking out over your back shoulder, letting your hands float down. Inhale, reaching up, back to center, and exhale, twist the other way. The twist is coming from the base of the spine and rotating up the spine like a spiral staircase around a central axis. Make this the last round and change the cross of your legs. Centered on the sit bones, lengthened up through the lower back, shoulders away from the ears. Float your arms up to shoulder heights and circle your wrists a few times in each direction. Warming up the wrists, bringing mobility into the joints. Release your hands down, then bring fingertips onto the shoulders. Inhale, circling your elbows up and exhale them back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Really deep breath, wide and full into the chest as the elbows circle up. Let's circle the other way, remembering to really expand the rib cage with the breath. You can even go slower if you've got a really good stretch in some of the places. Exhaling down and release the arms. Bring palms to touch. We're going to twist again, this time isolating the twist to the thoracic spine. So on your exhalation, twisting, but just from the mid-back. So this is where your bra strap is, the thoracic spine, where it connects into the rib cage at the back of the body. Inhale to center and exhale, twist. It's not a very flexible part of the spine. The movement will be small. Come back to center. And let's transition onto hands and knees with hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Creases between the wrists and hands are parallel with the front of the mat, lengthening from crown of head to tailbone. Inhale as you shine your chest forward, turning the tailbone up, accentuating the curve of the lower back. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, round your spine up towards the ceiling, relax your neck, let your head hang down. We shall continue this with the breath, Rounding on the exhalation, relaxing the neck, and shining your chest through on the inhalation, turning the tailbone up. As you inhale and you shine the chest through, you might even curl your toes under and press them into the mat. As you exhale, bring the tops of the feet to the mat and you round. As you inhale, relax your pelvic floor and your core. So see if on the inhalation, as you turn your tailbone up, and this will give you a bit of a stretch for the pelvic floor area, see if you can really relax the pelvic floor. So we're learning to feel the difference between the engaged pelvic floor and the released, relaxed pelvic floor, even having a little wiggle at the top of the inhalation before the exhalation naturally occurs. If you do feel like you have compression in your lower back when you shine the chest through and relax the belly and the pelvic floor, then think more of length in the lower spine as you inhale and shine the chest forward, keeping a little bit of core engagement, so keep very softly sucking the tummy in on the inhale as well. But if you're okay to really relax and let it all go on the inhalation, then when you exhale, you could even think of hugging your baby in towards the safety of your body. So on the exhale, you're actually engaging the transverse abdominal muscles that run like a belt around your middle. On the inhale, letting them go. On the exhale, engaging, maybe feeling a lift through the pelvic floor as well as you hug in your baby. Inhale, let it go. We're continuing here with the breath, letting the tops of the feet stay flat on the mat all the time this time. And then widen your knees, bringing the big toes together. On your next exhalation, rounding and sinking your bottom all the way down to your heels. Inhale, coming back up and shining the chest through to up cat. Exhale, rounding and sinking down into hare pose. Inhaling, shining through to up cat. Exhale, rounding into down cat, sinking the bottom down to hare pose. You can stay with this, or if you'd like more challenge, we can do some sweeping cats. So on your inhalation, you sweep through close to the floor, and when you've just passed your thumbs, push up. Then exhale, round, and sink the bottom back to the heels. As you come forward, you're moving through in a gentle back bend, leading with your heart, and this time keep gently drawing your tummy in towards the spine and lifting your pelvic floor, helping to support the spine. And make sure you keep your shoulders away from your ears. Creases between the wrists and hands parallel with the front of the mat. Elbows not splaying out too far to the sides, just brushing the outer ribs with the inner arms. Beautiful. We'll make this the last round. Sink your bottom down to the heels. And maybe extending your upper body forward on the mat or staying up on elbows if this is more comfortable for you. Relax your bottom to the heels and don't worry if it doesn't touch the heels. Just imagine that the bottom is working towards the heels. As you breathe deeply into your lower back, relaxing your belly as well, let your pelvic floor muscles go. If your hands are out in front of you, stretched out, then make sure they're shoulder width apart. And just for a moment, turn your palms to face upwards. Keep drawing your shoulders down your back and feel the outside edges of the shoulders rolling away from the ears, a big stretch occurring around the shoulder area. Turn your palms to face down again, grounding them down into the earth. Your next inhalation, rise back up to hands and knees. We want to keep the knees out wide, but not too wide, about the edges of the mat. The ankles aligned with the knees. Walk your hands back towards your knees and lift both at the same time, coming into squat pose. If you are more than 32 weeks pregnant and you aren't sure if your baby is in the head down position, then only hold this squat pose for a couple of breaths, then come gently forward to hands and knees and rest again in your hare pose. If you want to find out more about why this is, see my video, Modifying Yoga for Pregnancy. In your squat pose, the heels might be lifted or maybe they are more towards the earth. Your elbows nudge the knees apart, encouraging your inner thigh and inner hip stretch. Let your right fingertips drift down to the earth as your left arm reaches up into a beautiful open twist. Tuck the chin and look up if that feels good for you. Breathing here. The right elbow just nudging the right knee out to keep that lovely hip opening stretch. This also gives you a lovely stretch for your chest. Bring your palms to touch again and placing your left fingertips down, inhaling, opening out through the right side of your body, reaching your right arm up. This is such a great way to open the top of the pelvis, so really good for early labor, helping the baby to move down. Bring palms to touch again and place your hands down, walking them forward, and bring both knees down exactly at the same time, keeping your body nice and even. Realign your knees underneath your hips directly. Inhale and exhaling, rounding into round cat. Inhale, flatten into flat cat. And exhale, step your right foot to the outside edge of your right hand. Make sure your knee doesn't overshoot the ankle. So as you press your hips forward, if the knee comes past the ankle, scooch your foot forward a bit, so ankle underneath the knee. You can make gentle fists if your wrists are tender, or if you feel you need a little bit more space. Resting your hands on a yoga block works as well. We're going to rock the hips forward and backwards here. So inhaling as you press your hips forward, and exhale as you draw them back, straightening the front leg as much as you can. It's okay to let the sole of the front foot lift up off the mat. And don't worry if you can't get to your front leg straight as you draw your hips back. So we're just inhaling forward, exhaling, drawing backwards. Gentle hamstring stretch. Or you might feel it as quite a strong hamstring stretch, and that's okay too. Be aware of that circle of breath. So you feel that lovely hamstring stretch in the pause at the end of this exhalation, and a hip flexor stretch in the front of the left hip at the top of the inhalation. Last one, and then begin to circle your hips. So imagine you had a point in between your front heel and back knee on the mat, and you're circling around that point. Keep face and jaw relaxed. Keep your pelvic floor relaxed. This will help to lengthen and stretch the muscles of the pelvic floor, bringing really good circulation to those muscles. Begin to circle the other way. This is also great practice for labor. This position is a really good open pelvis position, so particularly good for later stages of labor and pushing. Make sure your pelvic floor stays really soft here. You'll need that relaxation in the pelvic floor for giving birth. Keep your right knee now stacked over your ankle, your right forearm on your thigh to support you as you ease yourself up into lunge balance, reaching the left arm up. Reach right arm up as well, and take the left wrist in the right hand to draw yourself up and over into a deeper side lean. Ground your hands gently down, come back to hands and knees. On your next exhalation, round your spine to relax the neck, let the head hang down. Come back to your flat cat position, step your left foot forward to the outside edge of the left hand. Press the hips forward, enjoying that lovely hip stretch. Maybe making fists if your wrists are tender. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, draw your hips back to straighten the front leg as much as you can. And inhale, rock forward again to bring the left knee stacking over the ankle and pressing the hips forward. Continue with your breath, being aware of those pauses in the circle of breath and enjoying the stretch you feel in that momentary pause, not holding the breath in any way, but noticing the lulls before the next breath naturally occurs. and enjoying, appreciating the stretch that you feel. And let's begin some circles, visualizing a point on the mat in between your front heel and back knee that you're circling your hips around. Face and jaw are relaxed, allowing yourself to observe all the changing stretches around the hip area. Change directions, go the other way. Pelvic floor relaxed, even taking some parts of the circle slower if you're getting a really good stretch or it's very tight in that area. Relax that jaw. Last round, stacking the left knee over the ankle, bringing left forearm to the thigh, reaching right arm up. If you have the balance, reach your left arm up and take your right wrist in your left hand, drawing up and over into a deeper side lean. Keep pressing the hips forward. Breathe into the side ribs, wide and full. And exhaling your hands down to the mat, carefully stepping back to hands and knees. And on your next exhale, have a big round for the spine. And with knees wide, big toes together, sink your bottom down to your heels to rest again in hare pose. Soften everything here. Relax face and jaw. Breathe deep into your lower back. We need grip on the mat for the next one, so I'm making sure my hands are free. It's better to do this baby dog pose on a yoga mat. Keeping your hips over your knees, reach your hands out in front of you, spreading out your fingers. And pressing into the mat, sliding your hands away, but they grip with the tackiness of the yoga mat, giving you some traction as you press your tailbone up and back. A nice flat back. You might have your forehead resting on the mat. Ground your elbows down and shuffle them in towards you so you can press back up to hands and knees. Only do downward dog if you have a tacky yoga mat. Curling your toes under, pressing your hips up into the air. Keep pressing your hands into the earth. If you feel dizzy, gently come back down onto hands and knees immediately. If you find your back rounding in downward dog, then bend your knees a bit more and really press your tailbone up and back towards the line between the ceiling and the wall. We only want to stay here a maximum of 5 rounds of breath for pregnancy. Slowly come down to hands and knees again. Exhale, round your spine, and inhale back into your flat cat position. Draw your tummy in, hug the baby in, lift up the pelvic floor. Slide your right leg out behind you and lift it up only to hip height. Inhale, flex the foot, and exhale, point the toes a few times. Keep hugging your baby in, trying not to sag through the lower back. Keep drawing your shoulders down your back and away from your ears. Point your toes and hold this position for a few breaths, maybe bringing your opposite arm forward for more challenge and really drawing the tummy in as you lengthen, stretch and extend. Flex the foot to push out through the heel. Then ground your hand down, ground your foot down. Sweep your foot out to the side in a tripod position. Keep the left hand down and then the right arm, same side as the leg that's out, comes up in a nice open twist. Tuck your chin and look up if that feels good for your neck. Breathe deep. Exhale your hand back down and begin rocking forwards and backwards. Allow your breath to be steady and natural. And observe the lovely inner hip and inner thigh stretches you'll be getting in your right leg. Come back to hands and knees. Stretch your left leg out behind you, drawing tummy and lifting pelvic floor. Hug the baby as you lift your back leg up to hip height. Flex the foot, pressing out through the heel. Point the toes a few times. Working the ankle through one of its ranges of motion. And then coming to breathe with your left leg extended out, right arm reaching forward and flexing the foot for a couple of breaths. Well done. Ground the hand down and the foot down. Sweep your foot out to the side. Keep the right hand down and the left arm reaches up, same side as that leg that's extended out. Nice deep breath there. Ground your hand down and begin to rock forwards and backwards, enjoying the lovely inner hip stretches. This is wonderful preparation for birth as we help to open the hips and bring good flexibility into the hip area. Sweep your leg back around to come back to hands and knees and have a nice big round for the spine. Come back into flat cat. Then come up to a high kneel position. Make sure your knees are under your hips directly. Place the heels of your hands in the sacroiliac joint area, so the triangular bone at the base of the spine, where it meets the pelvis, the iliac crest of the pelvis. And place one hand in each of those sacroiliac joints and feel like you're spreading the joint as you press your hips forward. Lift your heart in baby camel pose. Lift your chin, but don't let the head flop back. Imagine your thighs were rolling inwards, creating so much space in the sacroiliac area. Draw your tummy and lift your pelvic floor as you come back to center, feeling a neutral pelvis, inner hip bones level with the back rim of bone. Extend your right leg out. To the side, stretch your arms out too, take a lovely breath in. And as you exhale, extend over your right leg, long in both side bodies. Inhale here and exhale, the right hand cartwheels down. Inhale, the left arm reaches up. And keep breathing. Breathe deep into your side ribs in gate pose. Long lengthened spine. Draw your tummy and lift the pelvic floor as you come back to center. Realign your knees under the hips. Extend your left leg out. Reach out through your arms. Nice deep breath in. Exhale over the left leg. Inhale there, then exhale, cartwheeling bottom arm down. Inhaling top arm up and keep breathing deep into those side ribs. Draw tummy in, lift pelvic floor, bring yourself back to center. Bringing hands to your hips and bringing your left knee back under the left hip, realigning yourself. Sit your bottom down to your heels. Bring your hands to the floor as you widen your knees, bring big toes together. Extend forward in hare pose. Relax everything here. Remember, you can stay up on your elbows if that's more comfortable. Relax face and jaw, lips, teeth and tongue. Breathe deeply into your lower back. Even give your lower back a little massage if it needs it. When you're ready, slowly come back up to sitting. Bring your bottom to the floor and your legs out in front, bringing the soles of the feet together a good distance away from your body in seated star pose. Move the flesh of the buttocks out the way if you need to. Lengthen all up the back of your body and inquire into tipping forward at the hips. You might round over or keep your heart lifted if that's more comfortable. Looking to feel this stretch in the outer hip area, outer thigh area. Maybe across the lower back. If you feel it in your inner thighs as well, that's fine. If it's only in your inner thighs, then bring your feet forward more so we can get that outer thigh, outer hip stretch that we're looking for. Nice deep breaths here. Stay here for as long as you wish, and when you're ready, slowly make your way back up to sitting, coming into a comfortable cross-legged seat. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.